Hey, grace and peace. Welcome to Find the Intersection. My name is Paul Bezay. Today's Friday, which means we talk about the themes of the week, the intersections, the threads that run through the four passages. If you remember, the four passages are Luke 15, 1 to 10, which is Jesus telling the parable of the lost sheep and the lost coin. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verses 12 to 17, where Paul is telling Timothy that mercy is the deal, grace is the deal. God is a rescuer, and he's the chief of sinners, right? He has no merit on his own, right? And then we had Jeremiah chapter 4, verses 11 to 12, which is a warning, and God's watching God's people move away from him, and Babylon's looming in the background. And then Psalm 14, which is a psalm where we're talking about there's no one who is doing good in the world, right? So those are the four passages. So the intersections this week are, number one, God is a rescuer. God is a rescuer. God rescues in the parable of the lost coin, lost sheep. God is a rescuing God. Jesus is rescuing the sinners. That's what's going on there. Jesus rescued Paul. God desires to rescue Israel. That's the kind of the theme in that. And then the second thing is that God desires for us to be rescuers. Instead of grumbling and folding our arms and scowling at what Jesus is doing in the world like the Pharisees and scribes, Jesus wants us to be doing like Paul is to Timothy. He wants us to be reaching out. He wants us to be finding lost coins and lost sheep and doing the work of redemption, right? So God is a rescuer. God is a deliverer and desires for us to do the same, right? And then we have these decisions that we need to make. Just like Israel had a decision to make, Paul had a decision to make, Pharisees have decisions to make. There's this decision to realign with God, or align our hearts focused on ourselves, right? So there's this decision at the core of every one of these stories. What will the people do? And what will we do? So repentance is that decision of changing the way that we think, turning our way to God's ways. And that's a decision that Israel did not make in Jeremiah, and they ended up facing the destruction when Babylon conquered. And so there is a consequence to our decisions, right? So those those decisions are incredibly important. Will we worship the rescuing God? And the byproduct does, we then will participate him in the rescuing of the world, or will we focus on ourselves? So that's what I got. Hey, share your intersections in the comments, and let's learn from one another. And Southsiders, I'll see you on Sunday. Everyone else have a great weekend. Grace and peace, everyone. Bye.